Hannah Kim stepped into the research facility, her heart racing with anticipation. She was an alien researcher from a distant planet, disguised as a human scientist, with one burning mission: to understand the intricate world of human reproduction. The laboratory hummed with quiet energy. Sterile white walls and rows of advanced equipment surrounded her. She adjusted her lab coat, carefully concealing her slightly different physiological structure. No one could suspect she wasn't human. Dr. Michael Turner, the lead researcher, approached her with a stack of medical journals. "Ready for today's observations?" he asked, completely unaware of her extraterrestrial origins. Hannah nodded, her eyes scanning the room. Her species reproduced through complex cellular division, a process entirely different from human sexual reproduction. Humans fascinated her, their method seemed chaotic, unpredictable, yet somehow perfectly designed by evolutionary processes. She remembered her training back on her home planet. Years of preparation had led her to this moment. Understanding human reproduction wasn't just a scientific curiosity, it was a crucial research project that could reveal fundamental secrets about biological diversity in the universe. A young couple entered the research wing. They looked nervous but excited. The woman, probably in her late 20s, carried medical files. Her partner held her hand, providing silent support. Hannah observed their interaction, noting the subtle chemical signals and body language that humans use to communicate emotional connection. Her advanced sensory systems picked up minute details invisible to human perception. The woman's hormonal levels suggested she was in a prime reproductive state. The man's neurochemical responses indicated strong emotional attachment, a fascinating biological mechanism that went beyond mere genetic propagation. "We'll be conducting some preliminary fertility tests," Dr. Turner explained to the couple. Hannah listened intently, recording every word, every gesture in her internal memory banks. The couple sat down. The woman seemed slightly anxious, her fingers nervously tracing patterns on her medical folder. Her partner whispered something, causing her to smile. Another intricate human interaction that went beyond pure biological function. Hannah's research wasn't just about understanding the physical process of reproduction. She wanted to comprehend the complex emotional and social dynamics that surrounded human procreation. How did these beings transform a biological imperative into a deeply personal, often romantic experience? Her alien perspective allowed her to see patterns that human researchers might miss. The way hormones interacted, the subtle genetic negotiations happening at a cellular level, the emotional bonding that seemed to enhance reproductive success, all of these were pieces of an incredible biological puzzle. Dr. Turner began explaining the medical procedures to the couple. Hannah watched, her enhanced hearing capturing every nuanced explanation. Medical instruments gleamed under the laboratory lights. Advanced genetic testing equipment stood ready to analyze the most minute details of human reproductive potential. The research facility represented the cutting edge of human reproductive science. But to Hannah, it was more than just a workplace. It was a window into a complex, beautiful system of biological continuation that her own species had long forgotten. Her mission was delicate. She couldn't reveal her true identity. Every movement, every word had to be carefully calculated to maintain her human disguise. One slip could compromise years of careful research. As the day progressed, Hannah collected data, observed interactions, and slowly pieced together the intricate puzzle of human reproduction. Each observation brought her closer to understanding a process that seemed both scientifically precise and emotionally profound. The couple left after their initial consultation, holding hands and sharing a private smile. Hannah watched them go, her alien mind processing the complex human ritual of potential parenthood. Another day of research was complete. But for Hannah, this was just the beginning of a journey that would challenge everything her species knew about biological reproduction. Her report would change everything. And no one would ever know it came from an observer who wasn't human at all. The research room buzzed with quiet energy as Jay Park spread out complex genetic charts across the large white table. Hannah Kim leaned forward, her alien eyes absorbing every intricate detail of human genetic inheritance. Genetic inheritance is not just about transfer of information, Jay explained, pointing to a complicated diagram showing chromosomal patterns. It's a dance of molecular possibilities. Hannah's neural processors worked rapidly, analyzing each genetic strand. Her species had long forgotten the complexity of sexual reproduction. They reproduced through precise cellular division, a method vastly different from human genetic mixing. Dr. Elena Rodriguez entered the room, carrying a thick research folder. Her experienced eyes scanned the charts, noting Hannah's intense concentration. She didn't know Hannah was an alien researcher, seeing her only as a dedicated young scientist with an unusual curiosity about reproductive science. Genetic inheritance involves more than just physical traits, Jay continued. It includes potential behavioral characteristics, hidden genetic memories, and complex molecular interactions. Hannah found human reproduction fascinating. Each human child was a unique genetic experiment, a random combination of two different genetic structures. Her own species would consider this method wildly unpredictable. The research team began discussing genetic markers, hereditary diseases, and the intricate ways genes express themselves. Hannah listened, her advanced brain creating complex mathematical models of genetic probability. A computer screen displayed a 3D model of human DNA, spinning slowly, revealing its double helix structure. Colored markers highlighted potential genetic variations. Hannah saw beauty in this complexity, a randomness that her structured species would never understand. Look at how genes interact, Jay said, zooming into a specific chromosome section. It's not just about direct inheritance. There are dormant genes, epigenetic factors, environmental influences. Hannah realized human reproduction was more than a biological function. It was a complex negotiation between genetic potential, environmental factors, and random chance. Dr. Rodriguez discussed recent research about genetic diversity. Humans have evolved to create maximum genetic variation, she explained. Each child is a unique combination, improving species' survival potential. The alien researcher found this concept revolutionary. Her species maintained genetic purity through controlled cellular division. Humans embraced genetic randomness as a survival strategy. Genetic charts, DNA models, and complex research papers surrounded them. Hannah felt like an explorer in an unknown biological landscape. Each piece of information challenged her understanding of reproductive mechanisms. Jay demonstrated how genetic inheritance worked through practical examples. He showed how eye color, height, and even potential health risks could be traced through family genetic lines. To Hannah, this seemed like a beautiful, chaotic mathematical equation. Genetic inheritance is not destiny, Dr. Rodriguez emphasized. It's a potential map, not a fixed route. Hannah's alien perspective saw deeper patterns. Humans didn't just transfer genetic information, they created complex biological narratives with each reproduction cycle. The research team continued discussing advanced genetic concepts. Molecular interactions, genetic expression, hereditary patterns. Each topic revealed another layer of human biological complexity. Hannah took careful notes, knowing her research would transform her species' understanding of biological reproduction. She was collecting more than data, she was documenting a profound biological philosophy. As the day progressed, more genetic mysteries unfolded. Jay explained rare genetic conditions, showing how sometimes genetic inheritance produced unexpected results. To an alien researcher, these mistakes were fascinating windows into biological adaptation. Dr. Rodriguez shared stories of genetic research breakthroughs. Each narrative added depth to Hannah's growing understanding of human reproductive complexity. By afternoon's end, genetic charts covered every surface. Complex diagrams, molecular models, and research papers created a landscape of biological potential. Hannah knew her report would challenge everything her species understood about reproduction. Humans weren't just transferring genetic information, they were creating living, breathing genetic poetry with each new life. As researchers packed up their materials, Hannah remained focused. Her mission was just beginning, and each discovered genetic secret brought her closer to understanding the beautiful randomness of human life. Hannah Kim entered the interview room, her alien curiosity carefully masked behind a professional demeanor. Today's mission: understanding human reproductive strategies through direct personal interviews. The first couple sat nervously across from her. Mark and Sarah, both in their early 30s, represented a typical reproductive age human pair. Their hands were intertwined, a subtle gesture of emotional connection that fascinated Hannah's scientific mind. "Tell me about your decision to have a child," Hannah requested, her voice calm and professional. Mark spoke first. "It's not just a biological decision. It's emotional, spiritual even." His words intrigued Hannah. Her species viewed reproduction as a pure scientific process, but humans added layers of emotional complexity. Sarah described their journey. "Hormonal changes, emotional readiness, financial considerations, each factor was a complex negotiation. Hannah's neural processors worked overtime, mapping these intricate human decision-making patterns." Another interview revealed different perspectives. A single woman in her late 30s discussed her choice of artificial insemination. Hannah noted how human reproduction had evolved beyond traditional biological constraints. A gay couple shared their journey of adoption, presenting another fascinating reproductive strategy. They spoke about love, commitment, and the desire to nurture a child, concepts that transcended pure biological reproduction. Each interview peeled back another layer of human reproductive complexity. Hormones, emotions, social structures, personal histories all played crucial roles in their reproductive decisions. Hannah discovered that human reproduction wasn't just about creating new life. It was a deeply personal, often spiritual experience involving complex emotional and social negotiations. Medical professionals provided scientific perspectives. Fertility specialists explained the biological mechanisms of reproduction, while psychologists discussed emotional readiness and relationship dynamics. One interview with a reproductive counselor revealed unexpected insights. "Reproduction is about more than making a baby," the counselor explained. "It's about creating a family, continuing a genetic and cultural legacy." Hannah's alien perspective saw these discussions as intricate biological and social algorithms. Humans didn't just reproduce, they created complex life narratives with each reproductive choice. Cultural variations added more complexity. Interviews with couples from different ethnic backgrounds showed how cultural traditions influenced reproductive decisions. Some prioritized large families, others focused on individual career goals. A researcher specializing in genetic counseling explained how modern humans use technology to understand and sometimes modify reproductive potential. Genetic screening, fertility treatments, and advanced medical interventions were changing reproductive landscapes. Hannah documented everything. Each interview was a piece of a complex puzzle revealing the depth of human reproductive strategies. Her research went beyond biological mechanics, exploring the emotional and social dimensions of human life creation. One particularly moving interview came from a couple who had struggled with infertility. Their story revealed human reproductive experiences weren't always straightforward. They spoke of hope, medical interventions, emotional resilience. The psychological aspects fascinated Hannah most. Humans didn't just consider biological factors when reproducing. They evaluated emotional readiness, relationship stability, financial security, personal goals, and cultural expectations. A group interview with multiple generations of a family provided insights into reproductive patterns. Grandparents, parents, and young adults discussed how reproductive hormonal studies showed another layer of complexity. Chemical signals influenced attraction, emotional bonding, and reproductive readiness in ways far more nuanced than Hannah's species had ever imagined. By day's end, Hannah's research folder was filled with rich, complex data. Each interview was a window into human reproductive diversity. Biological mechanics, emotional landscapes, social structures, all interconnected in a beautiful, chaotic system. Her alien perspective saw beyond the immediate data. These weren't just interviews, they were stories of human potential, of life's continuous recreation, of hope and love encoded in cellular structures. As researchers packed up their equipment, Hannah knew her report would revolutionize her species' understanding of reproduction. Humans weren't just creating new life, they were writing living, breathing narratives of biological and emotional continuation. Dr. Elena Rodriguez carefully reviewed Hannah Kim's research documents, her experienced eyes scanning pages filled with intricate observations about human reproductive strategies. Little did she know that the researcher sitting across from her was not human, but an alien scientist disguised as a dedicated researcher. "Your comparative analysis is extraordinary," Rodriguez muttered, shuffling through complex genetic charts and interview transcripts. Hannah's alien neural processors had mapped human reproductive mechanisms with unprecedented precision. She saw patterns invisible to human researchers, subtle interactions between genetic potential, emotional landscapes, and biological imperatives. The research facility buzzed with quiet energy. Advanced computer systems displayed three-dimensional genetic models, showing how human reproduction differed from other biological systems. Each model represented a complex dance of molecular possibilities. Comparative charts revealed fascinating insights. Human reproduction wasn't just a biological function, it was a sophisticated survival strategy evolved over millions of years. Random genetic mixing, emotional bonding, and complex social structures all played crucial roles. "Observe these genetic variation patterns," Hannah explained to Dr. Rodriguez, pointing at a complicated chromosome visualization. Her fingers moved across the screen, highlighting subtle molecular interactions. The research team discovered that human reproductive strategies included multiple layers of complexity. Genetic inheritance, hormonal interactions, psychological readiness, and social contexts all contributed to successful reproduction. Hannah's alien perspective saw what human researchers often missed. Each reproductive event was more than a biological mechanism, it was a living narrative of potential, hope, and species continuation. Comparative data showed how humans had developed reproductive strategies far more complex than simple cellular division. Unlike her own species-controlled reproduction, humans embraced genetic randomness as a survival technique. Dr. Rodriguez was impressed. "These findings could revolutionize our understanding of reproductive biology," she said, unaware that the researcher before her came from an entirely different planet. The research mapped emotional and biological factors that influenced human reproduction. Hormonal signals, psychological readiness, relationship dynamics all formed an intricate web of reproductive potential. Computer models demonstrated how genetic variations improved species survival. Humans didn't just create new life, they created diverse genetic combinations that enhanced adaptability and resilience. Hannah's research revealed that human reproduction was a complex negotiation between individual desires and species survival strategies. Each reproductive choice involved multiple considerations beyond simple biological impulses. Cultural variations added another layer of complexity. Different human societies had developed unique reproductive strategies, reflecting local environmental and social conditions. Some prioritized large families, others focused on individual career goals. Advanced genetic screening technology showed how humans were now actively managing their reproductive potential. They could identify genetic risks, select potential traits, and make informed reproductive decisions. The comparative analysis went beyond pure biology. It explored how emotional connections, social structures, and personal narratives intertwined with reproductive mechanisms. Dr. Rodriguez reviewed genetic inheritance charts, highlighting how traits pass through generations. "It's like a complex, living mathematical equation," she remarked, completely unaware of her alien colleague's true nature. Hannah's neural systems processed vast amounts of data, creating intricate models of human reproductive dynamics. Each model revealed another layer of biological complexity, another narrative of life's continuous recreation. The research suggested that human reproduction was fundamentally different from controlled reproductive systems. Humans embraced uncertainty, variation, and emotional complexity as core reproductive strategies. As the day progressed, more research findings emerged. Hormonal interactions, genetic potential, emotional bonding all formed a complex web of reproductive possibility. Dr. Rodriguez prepared a preliminary report. "These findings could transform our understanding of reproductive biology," she said, excitement evident in her voice. Hannah knew her research would change everything. Her alien civilization would see humans not as a simple biological species, but as sophisticated, complex beings with remarkable reproductive strategies. The research facility's lights began to dim.
Another day of scientific exploration was ending. But for Hannah, this was more than research.
It was a journey of discovery, a profound exploration of life's most fundamental process. Her report would reveal the beautiful, chaotic complexity of human reproduction, a narrative of survival, adaptation, and continuous potential. Hannah Kim stood before the Alien Research Council, her holographic presentation displaying years of human reproductive research. The council members, cold, logical beings from a distant solar system, watched with calculated curiosity.
Humans are not just biological entities, she began. They are complex living narratives of survival and adaptation.
Her presentation revealed profound discoveries.
Human reproduction wasn't a simple genetic transfer but a sophisticated survival strategy involving emotional, biological, and social interactions.
The council chamber remained silent. Sterile white walls reflected holographic images of human genetic structures, emotional connection maps, and reproductive strategy models.
Our previous understanding of biological propagation is fundamentally incorrect, Hannah explained.
Her alien colleagues shifted uncomfortably, their cellular division-based reproduction system challenged by her research. Each slide demonstrated how humans created genetic diversity through seemingly chaotic methods. Random genetic mixing, emotional bonding, and complex social structures formed intricate reproductive mechanisms. Senior researchers reviewed her data. Genetic charts, interview transcripts, and behavioral analysis created a comprehensive picture of human reproductive complexity. Hannah showed how humans transformed reproductive processes into deeply personal experiences. Unlike her species-controlled cellular division, humans added emotional layers, creating living stories with each new life. Reproduction for humans is not just biological, she emphasized. It's a narrative of hope, survival, and continuous adaptation. The council members' neural processors analyzed her research. Complex algorithms calculated the potential implications of her findings. Her presentation revealed unexpected human capabilities. Genetic screening, emotional intelligence, and advanced medical interventions demonstrated a species constantly evolving its reproductive strategies. Cultural variations added more depth. Different human societies had developed unique reproductive approaches, reflecting local environmental and social conditions. Hannah's research suggested humans were not just surviving but actively designing their biological future. They used technology, emotional intelligence, and scientific understanding to manage reproductive potential. The council's lead researcher asked critical questions. How does emotional connection influence reproductive success? His voice remained neutral, but his interest was evident. Hannah explained the complex hormonal and neurochemical interactions that enhanced human reproductive strategies. Emotional bonding wasn't just a social construct but a sophisticated biological mechanism. Her slides showed how humans transformed potential genetic challenges into opportunities. Medical interventions, genetic counseling, and advanced reproductive technologies demonstrated remarkable adaptability. The research revealed humans as a species of continuous potential. Each reproductive event was more than creating new life, it was writing a complex, living narrative of survival and hope. Council members reviewed genetic inheritance patterns, behavioral prediction models, and emotional connection maps. Hannah's research challenged everything they knew about biological propagation. Our species has been wrong, the lead researcher finally admitted. Reproduction is not just a controlled biological process. It's a complex, adaptive strategy. Hannah's alien perspective had transformed their understanding. Humans were not a simple, predictable species but a complex, adaptive biological system constantly redefining its survival strategies. The council debated her findings. Some remained skeptical, others were fascinated. But everyone recognized the profound implications of her research. Her presentation concluded with a powerful message: biological diversity was not about control but about continuous adaptation, emotional intelligence, and living narratives. As holographic images faded, the council members sat in contemplative silence. Hannah had done more than present research. She had revealed a new perspective on life itself. The lead researcher approached her. "Your research will change everything we understand about biological propagation," he said, a rare hint of emotion in his voice.
Hannah knew her mission was complete.
She had bridged two different biological perspectives, revealing the beautiful complexity of life's continuous recreation.
Outside the research chamber, distant alien suns cast soft light. Another scientific breakthrough had emerged, challenging old understanding and opening new horizons of biological comprehension.
Her research was more than a scientific document. It was a testament to the incredible,